an Englishman who joined the Irish Capuchins. It's very strange. Now England and Ireland are kind of, Capuchins are one province, but in them days they were very, very separate, you know. And I wouldn't say I always wanted to be a Capuchin. I wanted to be a missionary and go to Africa.
Yeah.
And we have a Catholic newspaper in England. It's on sale also in Ireland, I think, The Universe.
Yeah.
And I used to always look at the ads. Father Dominic had an advertisement in it for brothers, and he mentioned Africa and New Zealand and what they call it. So I thought, that sounds very good to me. So I went to see first of all the parish priest, who was a Jesuit, and he said to me to wait a while, a few months, because one of his missionary friends was coming back from Africa, and he didn't know much about the missionaries. And so I said, well, that's okay, but there's nothing wrong with writing to Ireland just to see, you know, put out the feelers. So he agreed anyway, and I received a letter from Dominic, and I decided then that Capuchins was for me. In my youth, the reason I said that in the Catholic schools in England, every year missionaries used to come and talk to us about the missions, whichever country they were from, if they were Columbians or some other Passionist, and they'd give a talk and look for vocations. But I never thought at that time it was the thing for me to become a religious. I thought that's okay for other people, not for me, and that. And I started work afterwards. When I was 15, I started work in a glass factory, glass company, and that. And about a year afterwards, it kept coming back to me, you see. And so I was in church one day and at Mass, and I remember it was the feast of St. Blaise, the throat blessing, you know. And I thought I heard, it was my mind or my memory, but saying, oh, this is for you. And I, no, it's not. I said, I'm not. I said, religious is for holy people, not for people like me. And that, but it came and came. So then I did write to Dominic, and as I said. And I joined the Capuchins, and I prayed first to the Blessed Virgin Mary for a long time about it. And in them days, the boat from England to Ireland, they were called cattle boats. Not that they did carry cattle, but the reason it was called a cattle boat because the human body was pushed into it by the hundreds to fill up the boat, you know, to get across the river. And I had my ticket, and I had a ticket on the train down to Cork, and that. But in them days, young people had not been travelling around the world or anywhere like that. In fact, I'd never been out of my own town. I was a real country joke, like, you know. And so I either lost my wallet or had it stolen on the boat. But I had the ticket anyway to Cork. And the train got to Cork, and I didn't even know if it was Cork or not. And there were two little old Irish ladies getting off as well. And I said, is this Cork? And she said, hey, big boy, yes it is. And so I arrived in Cork City. And almost by mistake, you could say, I asked the bus driver that I was looking for the friary and that. And they had a big case with my clothes in. But what did he do? He put me off at the OFMs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I went in, of course, and knocked on the door. And they were very kind, very welcome. I told them to come over. They brought me in at the kitchen, a cup of tea and a sandwich. And then they took my case and walked all the way over to the Holy Trinity with me and left me at the door of Holy Trinity. So, very bravely, I went and knocked on the door. There was a brother, what was his name? I can't remember his name now, he's dead a long, long time. Also, I heard later that he was English, but I never knew this at the time. And I thought, as some said, I was looking for the novice master, and all I got was around there, you see, and then the door was banged. So it wasn't a nice welcome after the OFMs. But anyway, I went around the bus station and I saw the bus to Rocherstown, so I got the bus to Rocherstown. When I got off the boat, I didn't know to go left or to right, which way was the monastery, because the cafe was way at the bottom, a long way away. And I tossed up and I said, I'll go this way, which the correct way. And I was halfway up and it was getting dark at this stage. And I said, oh, I've gone all wrong, I'm lost. And a woman came down with the pram, pushing a baby, and I asked her, I said, well, do you know where the friary is? Just around the corner. Thanks be to God. Anyway, I arrived there and I knocked on the door, and Brother Seraphim, who was assistant novice master, answered the door. And Dominic was away, as he wasn't there that day. And so they brought me in and asked, what would you like to eat? I said, well, chips. English people love chips. Chips and sausages and that. And then they put me to bed, and the next day I started my postulancy. And that was the beginning.
What would be like your favorite ministry so far?
But so far, I tell you, I've done cooking, I've done the quest, I've done the Brother Porter, and I've been farmer on the farm, working on the farm. Of all of them, I think cooking was my best. But hospitality also, because I love to welcome guests and make sure that they have.
Why then any reason why you like cooking?
No,
just your personal interest?
No, it just it came natural to me. I mean, nobody in my family was cooks. My mother was a terrible cook, God forgive me saying that. But she was an ordinary cook, and she was able to cook and that, but not anything like for feast days and things like that. I loved cooking. In my novitiate, I remember the work in the novitiate as a novice. You had 1 month cooking, 1 month on the sacristy, 1 month on the door, and 1 month on the farm. But I always got the cooking more often, because I don't know whether it was because I was better or not, you know. But the guardian, Father Andrew, is dead now, God rest his soul. I used to make buns in the afternoon, and he'd come in for a bun and that, you know. And Brother Seraphim has gone mad. You're not supposed to make buns. You make them for everybody, not just for the guardian.
Then, do you know any funny stories you remember from your ministry or life?
I have, in a way, that one story anyway. We had a priest in Kilkenny, and Paddy Dowling was his name, a Kilkenny man, but he was very slow, but very kind as well, you know. And every Christmas, a family in Kilkenny used to give a present of 2 turkeys for the Christmas dinner. But unfortunately, they never killed them. They arrived at the friary alive. And I had the job of trying to get some butcher or somebody to kill them for me. And they were already starved. The lady and the farm told me they're starved, they're ready for killing. So you didn't have much time, really, or the poor turkeys would be starved. So the butcher used to do them, had retired, and I couldn't get him anymore. So I was talking to Father Patrick in the kitchen about it, and he went off and he come back and he told me I found somebody in Kilkenny on the Kells Road. And so we went, we had the turkeys in the boot of the car, and we went over to this man's house. He was an old man who was retired from poultry. Poultry means chickens and turkeys and things like that, you know. And his wife was blind, a little old lady, and she was sitting near the fire, the old Irish fire, in like one half of the room nearly, you know. and he was cleaning his shotgun, a double-barrel shotgun, you
Yeah.
see. We were talking, and at that time, Margaret Thatcher, you've heard of Maggie Thatcher?
Yeah.
She was Prime Minister of England and Northern Ireland. And this old man, he hated her. And he said, I'd shoot her with this if I knew anybody. If I knew any English person, I'd shoot them too.
Yeah.
With that, the wife turned round from the fire and said, where are you from, brother? And I said, Cork. And that story still goes around, and many of the friars have that story.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was funny, you know. So yeah, I think that's one funny story.
Any events from your ministry life or life that enrich your faith?
That enriched my faith. Yeah, I think being in a novitiate house afterwards, seeing the young men come along with vocations, new young men with spirit, the great spirit of faith within them, and it enriched your own faith, because sometimes your faith, when you're getting older, it lags a little bit, you know. Laziness, maybe, I think I would put it down to. But when you see the young people working so hard, trying, you know, I think it encourages you and your own faith. And that's why I feel in Korea, I feel so young, because all the Korean friars are young.
Yeah.
But they're all great men, of course. They're two great men in Ireland.
Yeah.
I love them.
Any favorite saint and why?
Well, I love Felix most of all, I think, St. Felix. And the house in Capuchin is St. Felix.
Of Cantaliche? St. Felix of Cantaliche?
Yeah, St. Felix of Cantaliche, yeah. And it's the novitiate house as well, of course, you know. We've only one novice at the moment, but he's a good fellow. He's an adult, he's not a young fellow, so I think he will survive, you know. And I think they enrich your faith, just seeing how they're working so hard to keep their own faith, you know.
Any favorite story about Saint Francis?
Well, I love the Wolf of Gubbio. That would be one of them anyway, you know. I think, you know. Probably that's the best one I could say, you know.
What's your most important life lesson?
Important life lesson? To stay young as long as you can. And keep working as long as you can. Tomorrow, I'm 80 tomorrow. And I'm still working. I cook Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And the novices and community Saturday, Sunday, they cook, you know. So at 80 years of age, that's good going, like, you know. And I do an awful sacristy and other kinds of work around the house as well, you know. So, and to keep happy, to keep joyful. Because if you get depressed, and then everybody else gets a little bit depressed. And then you have a sad community, you know. You've got to keep, even if you're sick, you try and keep as happy as you can, you know, to keep the others happy. It's community, it's fraternity really, you know. You're not just there for yourself, you're there for all the community, you know.
What would be your advice to the future Capuchins?
Well, now I don't know if that would be too popular, but excuse me, for the future Capuchins, I think we have to be more and more fraternal and community orientated. There's not enough. Community meetings, or whatever you call them, it's supposed to last for an hour, and they're supposed to be prayerful and joyful. I think we need fraternity and fraternal love of each other as a community, much more. Not enough emphasis on this, you know, the community and the brotherhood. I suppose the Eucharist is the very beginning of the day for every Capuchin, and it's from that everything else flows. Even work, you wouldn't be able to do anything unless at least we had the Mass and Communion first.
Do you have anything else just to say, like?
No, just thank you for having me. I was surprised. I wasn't expecting this, like, you know. I mean, I didn't know what was going on, but I said I'd come and do it, you know. So that's all. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.